Hey guys, I'm back. I wasn't going to make a video so soon, but I've been feeling really overwhelmed. My links are down below. The top link is going to say Mine for me. Please go to that. It's a little app. You just let it run as long as you want, and that helps me make money for my site and everything else just by you running it. So, um, I've just been having like a lot of anxiety. Anyone out there with an anxiety disorder understands that. I don't cope with things well. I'm sorry for the lighting, and by the way, I'm in a motel. That's where I live right now, so I'm kind of limited on what I can do with the camera angle. But anyway, so like when things get piled on me, when I have a lot of stuff to do, I start to crash, and I have trouble eating. I forget to drink water. I have problems sleeping, start to sleep the wrong hours. Like I kind of just go around with my sleep cycle at that point, which doesn't help matters because, living in a motel, I never know if they're going to knock to want to clean. Um, it's just inconvenient. And I know later this week I start looking at cars. You would think that I'd be happy about that. I'm not. It's stressful for me to do that. I don't like that type of situation. But I'll get through it somehow. And if I, for some reason, couldn't do it this week, well, I'll just do it next week. Like, you know what I mean? But sometimes things in life are more time sensitive, and I don't always have that option. But with this, it's not like it's not like I have to purchase it this week, although I would like to, if I can. Because not having a car has been, like, stressful. Um, I also want to talk a little bit about, like, not having parents anymore. Like, that's extremely hard. It's not an easy thing. My mom more so. For those of you who really know my story from the past, then you know my mom more for many, many reasons. But when I get stressed out like this and I start to feel depressed and anxious, because even making this video right now, I can tell you I feel like I'm just electrified. It's like an adrenaline rush, going through me. Not like a panic attack, but just high anxiety feeling like I want to jump out of my skin a little bit. But I want to call my mom. And even though I'm an adult, it's what I want to do. I want to talk to her because I am scared. I'm uncertain. I don't know where my life is going. I don't know what I'm doing half the time. That's nothing new. I've been kind of skating by for years now. I think that I have never dealt with a lot of stuff. Possibly because I haven't had time to, and other times like I just don't have the emotion a lot of time. Like I just feel blank almost. Like when my mom died, I didn't have time to get upset. Like I had to like actually have my appendix removed. you know, when my father died, it was sudden and there was a lot going on, and I had to scramble financially. I was dealing with a roommate who was not paying his rent on time at all. I had went through living with my niece for a while before that roommate, and it didn't work out. And like her and I guess don't even talk at this point. Um, I have a half sister that I was never close with because we just grew up, like we have a big age difference, so we just grew up, separately for the most part. And um, it was my mom's daughter, but my mother and father only have one biological kid, and that's me. So that leaves me, like, it wasn't a big family, so it leaves me with no siblings. You know what I mean? Like I don't have like a brother I can call or anything. I don't have any close friends locally, like close. Like I just don't. At this point, a lot of people that I brought into my life had a lot of problems, and it's almost better to be alone than be in those problems and be treated in a bad way. But then that leaves you with no family and no real close friends, and you have an anxiety disorder, and it leaves you with your thoughts, and it's scary. Like, it really is. Sometimes it's just scary. Like, I project out to the future, and I don't see it as being, well, I mean, I do see it as being good sometimes, but a lot of times I don't. It feels like it's going to be a struggle to the day I die. That I'm going to have to, if I live to be, let's say, 60, 70, 80, 90, that I'm going to struggle all the way to the end. And that there's never going to be lasting peace, never lasting comfort. I mean, life has ups and downs anyway, but I'm tired, you know what I mean? Like, I'm so tired of the wild ups and downs. You know what I mean? Like, I don't, well, maybe you don't know what I mean, but I tend to have this pattern where things go really well and then it crashes, and then it goes really well and it crashes. And I'm facing a whole new chapter in my life because of my age, and because of certain things that I'm going to have to do, that I haven't had to do, some of it in forever, like never had to, and other things that I haven't for a very long time. I've been isolated for so long and been around the wrong people for so long that I've lost my ability almost to interact in person. It's I'm just not used to being around a lot of people, because even when I had friends and stuff, like, it'd be like one person I'd be hanging out with. I never, for a very long time, I haven't had a ton of people around me unless it was kind of like, acquaintances. Like, if I went to a bar or something, people know me. A lot of people know who I am, but they don't know me. I don't have that comfort level. Like, there's just really no one that I feel that I can sit down and really, really talk to right now, which is part of the reason why I want to move to Florida too, because maybe being around Keith would help. He does know me on that level, and I could talk to him about things. I think that people that don't have bad anxiety or have depression or any other, problems going on with themselves, or maybe past medical problems that went wrong with them, and maybe like didn't have their parents die and haven't experienced being isolated and alone, it's hard for people to really understand how that feels. And I censor myself in real life because I don't want to scare people. I'm not suicidal. I don't want to die, but I'm scared. And admitting that to people's hard. Like, it's very difficult to be an adult and be an adult male on top of it. I'm supposed to have my life together. I'm in my early 40s. I'm supposed to be set up and fine, and I'm not. It's no different than it was when I was like 18. The only difference was that I had more people. I didn't have all these bad events actually, take place yet. Um, so I'm basically just venting. I mean, I don't know what I'm really talking about on this, other than the fact that just admitting that I'm pretty scared. I mean, I have all the what if thinking, which I talked about in another video. Like, what if I fail? What if every decision that I'm making now is the wrong choice? What if nothing feels right? Like, going to Florida, what if it's the wrong choice? Staying here, what if it's the wrong choice? I don't want to stay here anyway. I don't. And I also was talking to someone online, and I'm having a lot of black and white thinking. And what that is like, I'm not seeing a middle ground. I have to force myself to see that middle ground, because my thought process is, I go to Florida, it doesn't work out, I'm trapped there forever. But I'm not. Like, if I go to Florida and it doesn't work out in a short period of time, like, a month or two for me to get settled, I mean, I can come back. I can be right back here. But it doesn't feel like that. It feels that every choice and direction feels very dark, very cast in a negative light. I also have a tremendous amount of pressure, because when you don't have a safety net, you're not allowed to fail. Like, I'm not allowed to fail. there's nothing to catch me. There's nothing. Like, there's no place to go if all of a sudden I had no money. Like there's just not. There's no. It's like being on, like I told someone too, it's like being on a tightrope. Like, I'm not allowed to get sick. Like, I'm not allowed. Especially right now. Like, I'm just not allowed to do it. Because if I can't work, if I can't function, if I can't pull myself together, I'm in a lot of trouble. Like, a lot of people in this country live paycheck to paycheck, and a lot of people are steps away from being homeless all the time. And what I went through before I was able to get back on my feet to this point, I don't want to do that again. That was really uncomfortable and scary and bleak and like a weird sort of nightmare that I didn't know if I'd get out of. I'm surprised I maintained being positive for so long in it, although I had moments of it not being okay. And a lot of people throw around the thing of, oh, get disability. Well, right now I can't, because when you have a certain amount of money, you cannot. And it's not like over the years I did not try to do that, because I'm diagnosed with agoraphobia with panic attack disorder. The agoraphobia is not currently going on. I mean, it is, but it's not like it used to be. Like, I can still go places, obviously, if I'm going to drive to Florida, you know. Panic attacks, I avoid so much, I just don't have them usually. I've had brief ones that come and go, but nothing too bad yet. The generalized anxiety disorder, that's all the time, like all the time. And especially right now, that's why I feel so shaky and so amped up, because my mind's going. And, you know, that's another thing that's really hard to talk to people about that don't have this, because you're going to hear, take a deep breath, you know, just relax. And it doesn't work like that. And medication, I've gone through a lot of different ones over the years. I had some issues. I am not in a position to drug myself right now and have side effects going on and a possible bad reaction to something again, because I'm just not in a position where I can do that. I'm not allowed to have that happen. So that's just not an option right now. And again, people think that when people have anxiety or depression, that it will are you on medication to tell your doctor? That it doesn't mean that everyone's fixed, and it doesn't mean it makes it all go away, because nothing ever makes everything go away. It can ease symptoms, and in some people it really helps for a while. It really can, and some people really need it for a time, but not everyone's in a position to do that at the current moment, and it's just not always an option, you know, unless it got so severe that excuse me, unless it got so severe that I couldn't, that not doing it and having side effects that could possibly be really bad. Like, when I say bad, I mean some of these drugs have made me get really, they trigger panic attacks half the time in me. And like, I went through, well, it doesn't matter. Just that whole thing, I'm so tired of like talking about that other event. But yeah, so I'm trying to pull myself together, and this can happen where I'll feel like this for a while, and I can get almost like a second wind, and I can make it stop. Well, not make it stop, it just kind of stops on its own, or I can, I guess, sometimes make it stop by distraction and rethinking my thought process. And then other times, rarely, thankfully, but it worries me when I get like this, a crash into a major depression. Like, I cannot have that happen right now. I can't lay around crying for no reason and be really depressed. That takes months to go away when that happens to me. You know, and thankfully I haven't had that since about 30. So it's been about like 12, almost 12 years. See, that's what worries me a little bit, because I seem to have this weird cycle where it happens every 8 to 10, and it hasn't happened in about 12. So sometimes I worry that I'm really pushing a limit. Plus, also I was saying earlier, and I'm gonna let you guys go soon. Because I'm just babbling. I had my mother and father die, significant loss in my life, financially and materially, before I got into minimalism. I lost everything from my childhood. I have no pictures, I don't have anything really. I have like 5 pictures or something. I lost an ex-boyfriend. He's dead. I lost an ex-girlfriend. She passed away early last year. I've lost people to suicide. Now this person, it wouldn't traumatize me because I wasn't close to her anymore. I was friends with her in high school. All right, I probably have never, maybe I never told anybody this, to be honest. I was friends with her in high school, and her sister. Better friends with her sister, to be actually, but still hung around her. I'm not even going to say her name because I don't want people looking her up, and it's just the whole thing. I don't want her family to hear this and know I'm talking. Well, like, I'm going to give a detail that might, but anyway, she had bipolar disorder, apparently. I didn't know that in high school, but she did. It makes sense now looking back because she did get really depressed once and was out of school for a while. I just thought it was depression. I didn't know it was bipolar. And she had kids, everything. I think she was in a relationship. Long story short, shortly after, or right before, I can't remember, that my ex-girlfriend died. This girl, who I used to talk to, hang out with, go to, not parties, but, like a group of kids, you all hang out together and stuff. She basically lit herself on fire and burned herself to death. And I got a text about this. I didn't know how at first. I found out later. And I didn't feel anything. I felt the same way I felt when I heard my father died. Like, it just, oh, same thing when my ex-girlfriend died. And this is somebody that I really cared about and worried for her while she had cancer. Kept in contact with her. She was married and everything. She had a kid too. And kept in contact with her. Talked to her when she was in the hospital for the last time. She was having some lung issues and they were draining fluid. And I've had that done because I had lung surgery when I was 24. Obviously, for different reasons. I didn't have cancer. And our last conversation is talking about how I can relate to that. And we almost kind of half joked about what it's like. It's not pleasant. And that was it. Then I forget who told me. And then I'm the one who contacted other people that I knew she knew and told them. And then they contacted people. So then, everyone found out. I cannot remember for the life of me who told me that. Someone did. I can think of all the people I told, but I don't know. But again, I worry about the numbness that I can go into because I think that it's not that I'm not feeling it. I think I'm storing it. And I have a very bad fear that it's going to all come pouring out of nowhere when I least expect it and at the worst possible time. Like when I finally have a job I like or when things are going good. Because the reason why I think that, and I said I'd let you guys go and I will, is because I had some things that went on as a kid and I was anxious and a very nervous person. I was bullied a lot. My home life was very anxious. And once I got to high school, it stopped. Like, I got friends and more friends. I had friends before that. I just mean, like, you get to, when you're older, stay overnight at people's houses more. You get more freedom. And I was able to get out of my house and I was able to have a life outside of everything I was trapped in all that time. So things were going good. And that's when the panic attack started. they didn't start when everything was bad. They started when things were good. And I talked to therapists over the years, different ones about it. They all kind of said the same thing, that it's when my body finally felt that it could release it. Only it wasn't releasing it in a healthy way. It's blown off massive panic, and it's ruined my life. It really has. If I didn't have these problems, which half the people don't believe exist, half people think you can just suck it up, half people, all this other, you know how people are, especially if you have this, you know, they think that you can just pull yourself up by the bootstraps and that make everything work, and that you just need to pray. You should just become Buddhist, or pray to Jesus, or eat a raw food diet, or I mean, and trust me, I've done all of that stuff. You know, I've had this anxiety disorder since I was 15, so you know, I mean, I was nervous before that. Like I said, I was a nervous kid, but this, where it crippled my life, has been going on for a very long time. I've had this more longer in my life than I lived without it. So I just think it's ruined a lot of stuff. I would not be in this situation right now had that not happened. But, you know, everyone's got their problems, right? Anyway, I have babbled long enough, and I will talk to you all soon. Again, please, if you can donate to my PayPal account. But more importantly, that mine for me, please do that. I have a Patreon if you'd like to, you know, support that. It's only like $1 a month if you want to do that. You can give more than that, but it's only $1 a month if you want to, like I said, do that. And then that's it. I will talk soon. I'll probably make some other babbling video the more anxious I get. So I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.